just going on a little bit of a walk, and I figured I would take you guys with me. So here I am. Hopefully, it's a good walk. Don't really have any ambitions for it. I don't know why. I was just like, it'd be kind of fun to like stream on Twitch. You hear the little prairie dogs. It's a really beautiful walk. Here, there's one to my right, really freaking out over here. I bet you probably can't even see it. I can't zoom in on Twitch. But, where'd chat go? But they're there. There's one really close. Again, pretty hard to see. This area, there's a drone flying around too. I don't know if you can hear or see that. There's a little remote control hobby airport on this area just to the south of us, and so that's probably where the drone's coming from. They have a drone area. Usually they can't come this far to the north, but people do what people do. This area has a pretty cool gazebo, has a glove here, and this whole field was replanted in the mid-90s. There was World Youth Day here in 1993, where Pope John Paul II had millions of people. So you can see this picture. So you see this stage, and one thing is there's this hill right here, and that's that hill right there. So you can imagine the million people, says nearly 500,000 participants were in this field right here, right when we're walking. So, God, and to get in here, it's like a 2-lane road, one in each direction, because it's a state park, and I can't imagine 500,000 people trying to get in here. It would be the worst traffic jam. It's awful during just normal periods on the weekend sometimes. So I can't imagine 500,000 people. They would have had to have parking somewhere else and then bus it. I am going to get my gloves on because it is a bit cold. So sorry. That drone's flying all around. There we go. Hopefully y'all can hear some of that. Hopefully the wind's not too bad on the mic. It's a little breezy today. And some of the schools had like a 2-hour delayed start because it was icy. We had a little bit of ice last night, which not in my neck of the woods, not here really. I guess on the north side of town and on the west side. Look at this little guy right here. Look at that. Hey, buddy. Hey. What are you doing? Oh, okay. We'll leave you alone, buddy. He's gonna freak out once I get behind him, I bet. No? Cool. He's a brave little guy. His friend over there ran into a hole. It's right at the top of it. Some trash. The good stuff. Still hear that drone. There's also a gun range part of the state park just to the south of the little remote control airport, so it's great ambiance. You got the drone flying around, you have the guns going off, and then as you can hear right now, there's actually a bigger airport just to the south of, like a real airport, just to the south of the state park. And so the flight path to avoid these jets and airplanes flying over residential areas. They have them go right over the state park, and so you get that as well. Good times, good times. But it's fine. As long as you don't want to listen to the birds, if you just want to watch the birds, it's cool. It's cool. Actually, right now there's a little bit of a lull. I heard some pretty big gunshots a few minutes ago, but they seem to have stopped. No longer hear the drone. Some more prairie dogs coming up. This is I don't know. I feel that prairie dogs aren't as liked and cherished as they should be. Many of the prairie dog colonies along the Front Range around Denver are in such poor shape. They're just hanging on, especially during the winter. Just living in, they're overcrowded and kind of just relegated to the little side plots that the developer hasn't built on yet. And it's just dirt, there's no grass. These poor little colonies get disease really easily because of the overcrowding, lack of food. And then people get pissed off because their brand new house has these prairie dogs that, you know, will get diseased in there. You know, then they have their dogs running through the prairie dog neighborhood, and heaven forbid your dog get diseased as well. And then the colonies themselves and the animals themselves aren't protected at all. And so developers and city planners and whatnot, they have to make an effort to relocate. But if they can't, then essentially what they do is to get rid of the prairie dogs is they cover up the holes and then fill the colony with water and drown them in order to make sure that no one sees. Because if you had live prairie dogs running around the surface while a bulldozer came in and you churned them all up with the rest of the soil, people would be pretty mad watching that. So you just get a fire hose and drown them all. Or poison them, whichever's easier, I guess. This little water bottle here has been here since Saturday at least. I don't think they're coming back for it. We see like this little dirt area. It's not terrible, but there's lots and lots of grass around here. There's other colonies where it's just dirt, like not even weeds. It's awfully sad. That drone's still over by that gazebo. This little guy, a couple of them over here. There are reports with early explorers along the Front Range, eastern Colorado, Nebraska, Wyoming. Now the guy's over by me. That there were colonies that would stretch to the horizon. There'd be over 1 million prairie dogs in a colony. And I don't think that exists anymore. I remember growing up, I grew up in North Denver, and we'd have prairie dogs everywhere. And slowly but surely they were getting pushed out. So in that area, here's Butterfly Hill. So that stage where the Pope was kind of like right there. It is, like just right here, just right in front of us, right where that tree is really, was the stage. There'd be 500,000 people here between here and the gazebo. Pretty quiet today. Other than that drone, a few cars, I think I'm all alone up here. Got some nice yucca plants and some thistle. I love yucca. People don't like it, you know. I like things that people don't like, I guess. But, because they're pokey. But one of the coolest times I've ever had was I went up to Pawnee National Grasslands when I was in college. Or no, I was in high school. And it's actually semi-protected grasslands up in extreme northern Colorado, borders Wyoming. And it was right in the spring. What the hell is that? It's like a kid's toy. It's like it. It's like a baby toy. I don't think they're coming back for that either. But anyway, so I was up in Pawnee National Grasslands, and I got out, and it was just silent. But the smell of the yucca were all in bloom, and it was amazing. Absolutely stunning. You can see the little seed pods for these guys, these yucca plants, right there. So they kind of open up and bloom. You can't really see because I'm in the shadow, but you grab it and you kind of shake it out a bit. Oh, or break it off. Oh, they fell off my hand. There they are. And there's some seeds just right there. Take them home, plant them in your own yard. But we won't. We'll plant them over here. Maybe someday it'll grow. There's a bunch of them. A little plot here. They like apparently these ones like the north-facing slope of this Butterfly Hill. A little wetter, maybe. There used to be a railroad back in the day that would cut across kind of right through here, right where my finger is, and go right across through here. And there's a road where the gazebo is. You can see the gazebo. Where is it? It's right up here. You can barely see it. And then it kind of went all the way down towards the city of Parker and Franktown and beyond. And got washed away in a flood. And I don't think they ever rebuilt it. Back in the teens, I believe, about 100 and some odd years ago. But anyway, so I was saying about prairie dogs is that when I was growing up in the north part of town, a lot of it was old rangeland, not a lot of like intensive farming. And so I had tons and tons of prairie dogs. But it was also ideal for building. So we got this problem in Colorado where you have farmers. They certainly don't want big holes in their farmland. You can't do it anyway because they plow it up. Like lots and lots and lots of farming, right? So no prairie dogs can go there. And then we have houses and streets and shopping centers. Certainly don't want prairie dogs there either. Look at that. Look at that beautiful view. We're going to go up on top of that hill in a little bit. And then you have ranchers. We have lots of dryland ranchers in Colorado. And some ranchers absolutely hate prairie dogs. Some don't mind them. But you find that a lot of the ranchers will shoot, kill, poison. Well, shoot, kill's, redundant, but will shoot or poison the prairie dogs that come into their area. Cattle and whatever else you might have. They're ranchers. Their main job is to grow grass. And if you have something eating the grass, you might have a less fat cow for market. Your land's not as productive, and in dry land conditions, they're overgrazed anyway. So what do? Well, you gotta protect your grass. It's your livelihood. Which is unfortunate. But like, it's been a while, but I thought I read a study back in the day where like cattle actually prefer to graze around prairie dog colonies because the grass is more nutrients, has more nutrients in it. Here's the little birdies. And, you know, so it's maybe not so much how much grass you have, but the quality of grass you have. We'll go up this way. So we're a little bit of a crossroads here. We can go down that way. But I'm going to try to get on top of the hill. All the old trails. This used to be an old trail. You can see all the sticks and shit. I just heard something bigger in the bush. But all the trails seem to be closed. Let's see if we can find one that's open. Anyway, so maybe if you have more nutrient-rich grass, you'd have fatter cows. You wouldn't need as much grass. Maybe. Because not only do the little prairie dogs poop everywhere, provide some nice fertilizer, one of the big things that grass needs and that soil needs, and that cows don't do a good job doing, is putting oxygen into the soil itself. So this is like a giant aerator. Look at that. That hole, and this whole colony right here, it fills this whole area up with oxygen over time. Yeah, it looks like all these trails are closed. There needs to be a lot of bikers around here. They put in this new gas pipeline, and it's a lot of this worked on, I bet. Yeah, I don't see any way to get up there from here, at least. We'll walk around a little bit more. Anyway, so again, it's about restorative grazing practices, and I don't know, like I would absolutely love to own a ranch, and maybe I'd have a different opinion if I was at risk of losing my home and my property, and these damn little prairie dogs were reducing my yield. Otherwise, like, ranchers don't want to live in the city necessarily. They're very, very proud of their land. But it's also that the land isn't, like with ranching, the land is much more natural than, you know, just having a mono-yield farm, right? Or monocrop. There's that damn drone is back. Beautiful, fun walk, except for that drone. Anyway, so maybe I just need to talk to more ranchers. Get their opinions, huh? They got all this newly sprayed grass seed mix. This thing goes off to the horizon. Smelly cat. Yeah, can you hear me? Smelly cat? I hope you can. I am out on a walk. I'm trying to make it on top of this hill here, but it seems that everything is closed. And we're in this middle of this gas line, so I don't think we're going to find anything for it. Yeah, so this is near to where I live. Hopefully, Smelly, you can hear me. I can hear you good. Yeah, doing a little something different. Just going on a little walk. It's my property. No, I wish. This is near to where I live. I live, I guess as the as the storm crow flies, as the crow flies, maybe 5 miles kind of southeast of here. This is the Cherry Creek Reservoir on the south side of Denver, Colorado. And I'm on the west side of the reservoir, where it's a little more grassy. I'm just in Denver, near to, at least, not in Denver proper, but in the metro area, southern metro. I grew up in the north metro and spent most of my life here, pretty much all my life. I haven't moved anywhere. I lived in another part of Colorado during college, but that's about it. So, my brother grew up here, but he now lives on the East Coast in Connecticut, so I go there occasionally, so I'm not just a homebody. I do like to travel. Never been to Colorado. Well, it's an awesome place. I was hoping to get on top of this damn hill. Everything's closed, and not a big fan of going off the trail too much, but it's a beautiful view. We'll get to the top of this hill up here. There's a little one, and you'll be able to see the mountains, hopefully. So it's a little shaky on the phone, but we'll stop. And yes, this is a really cool area. I take my kayak here usually a lot during the summertime, just hang out on the lake. But yeah, a lot of people think that Colorado is all about mountains, and it certainly is. I would love to take Twitch on a mountain excursion, but the problem is you can't get reception in most fun areas. But I go backpacking several times a year. I have a 9-year-old, and so last summer took him on his first backpacking trip. Or no, I took him. It was last summer or 2 summers ago. Yeah, I took him for his first backpacking trip when he was 7. God, he loved it. So here's a little bit of a drainage, and I heard something move in here just a few minutes ago. Oh, there's a lot of birds. Yeah, when there's no cell service is absolutely where you need to go. We're talking about prairie dogs. I don't know if you saw them, but we went through a pretty big prairie dog colony. I think there's more maybe up here. I'm not sure if they crossed the drainage. But yeah. It's a little bit of a brown cloud over Denver. So I was saying earlier that they're so cute. They're so damn cute. I don't see any. Actually, you know what? There are some on the other side of this little construction area. I do see them. We'll get to them. But it's a little bit cold today, even though it's bright blue skies. This is the cool thing about Colorado is that, look at that. Look at that skyline. Not a cloud in the sky. Going all the way around. It's about 30 degrees outside and a little breeze. I don't know if you can see it. The grass is just barely moving. In Colorado, people say that the South, they don't know how to drive in the snow. Colorado doesn't know how to drive in the ice. We had just a little bit of ice last night, and half the school districts in their area had a 2-hour delay. We didn't, because it wasn't too bad, but yeah, we do not get ice storms. We get snowstorms. So when it's a little bit icy, almost like frost. If it's frosty, people are like, oh shit, what's going on? So blue. Oh my gosh, it is so blue. Here we go, get to the top of this hill. So here's some, I don't see any prairie dogs near the road. They're all pretty quiet too. There's some way down there. No, we don't get humidity. That's the thing. Usually it gets too cold to drizzle, and that's what happened last night. It was a little warmer. And then the humidity, we really don't get humidity, so it doesn't stick to anything, like ice-wise. Yeah, I think these prairie dogs kind of got scared away with the pipeline they put in. They put in a gas line. So here we go. You won't be able to really see the mountains because the camera makes it look really far away. Let me get to this bench here and I'll kind of stop for a second. Maybe stand on the bench. Here we go. So I don't know if you can see my finger there. Right there is a little snow peak. And I can't, again, Twitch doesn't let me zoom in. That's Mount Evans. You can just barely see. And then right here, there's some more white. That's the Indian Peaks. That's usually where I go backpacking. I actually volunteered with the Forest Service for 7 years along that range. And then you can barely see it, but so there's a little blue spot. But right there, right where my finger is, right above it, is Long's Peak. And Estes Park. Behind there is Grand Lake. Hey, what do you do? Why do you get free time? Because I don't give a shit. And then, yeah, there's Cherry Creek. It's all frozen right now. So then I live, there's a bit of, you can see like the houses and stuff right there, but I live kind of just on their side of the horizon a little bit. Maybe not even quite past the horizon. If I could get on this damn hill right there, I could show you, but it's all right. So Jaggy Man, Smelly Cat, Jaggy Man's my brother. So welcome, Jeff. So yeah, Mount Evans, God, I wish you could see it a little better. Again, right there. You can drive to the top of it during the summertime, and it's a nice little drive and beautiful area. He does well. Jaggy. I think I actually streamed Pete's Nightmare once. I think Smelly Cat saw it. Yeah. But so you see these taller buildings right here. So that's the Denver Tech Center. And Cherry Hills, which is a very well-to-do neighborhood. And then you kind of see the dam through here, and just above the dam you can kind of see the brown cloud above Denver. But yeah. Looks like there might be a bench over here with people sitting on it. Or I'm just making that up. Anyway. So Mount Evans, they're looking at renaming it. Actually, it's one of the most popular mountains in the state, and they're looking at renaming it because Governor Evans, who is, I think, either one of the first governors of Colorado or a regional governor, was one of the main, what would you call them, like antagonists for the Sand Creek Massacre, where the Colorado cavalry and military went to the southeast part of the state and the territory at the time and massacred a tribe of Cheyenne and began another stage of the Indian Wars in the West. Part of the call to arms with Crazy Horse in South Dakota was in response to the Sand Creek Massacre. So I'm just walking through this little colony here. Oh, here's some. Oh, look at that guy. I don't know if you guys can see him. He's like chewing on some roots. Let me see if I can get down a little lower. He's right. Oh, there he goes running. There he goes. Taking off. He's like, oh shit. He's laying down or sitting down. What's he doing? It's not normal behavior for a human. Yeah, can you rename a mountain? Absolutely. So there's this whole commission that our current governor has created to look at renaming different places in Colorado. And then that commission will send recommendations to like the USGS. And then the USGS is responsible for naming, and they have some kind of probably some other office or committee or whatever that has to go through it. And then once that has been christened, then you can update all the maps and rename it. Absolutely. So there's a whole bunch of stuff. There's this other, just actually, just to the north. Oh, yes, drone. Hi, drone. Just to the north of Mount Evans is another pass. God, I can't remember the name of it, but or the word, but it's a Native American. It's a derogatory name for a Native American sex slave. And I remember hearing it in cartoons growing up. So yeah, these are people just sitting on this bench. There's a high school and a middle school nearby, so I probably won't get too close to them. But anyway, so they're looking at renaming that, clearly. Squaw, that's it, squaw. And I didn't realize this, but the word squaw is so polarizing and such an offensive word. And sorry if I'm offending people just saying it now, but like the media in Denver, at least, won't say the word. They'll say, this pass that has a derogatory name. They won't say, Squaw Pass or Squaw Mountain. There's a few of those. So I think getting rid of Mount Evans makes sense. Fun fact, so maybe not so fun fact. The militia out of Denver and the military out of Denver went down to southeast Colorado and did the Sand Creek Massacre. And there was this one, I think he was a cavalry captain, that spoke out against it. And when they came back to Colorado, or came back to Denver, he was very vocal to the governor, Evans, and to the people that commanded it, because, they all got heroes. Welcome back to Denver. They were these heroes that killed these savages, which is complete bullshit. And so his house was actually so if you ever look at a map or anything, look up the Denver Mint. It was just to the west of the Denver Mint, the north of the Denver Mint, north of Colfax Avenue. And this outspoken soldier received a call or a knock on his door one evening, and two men assassinated him for speaking out. I don't know if it was, the Governor Evans that did that, or said it was okay, or just two men that were just pissed off, because you just welcomed in all these heroes, and you have this guy that's saying they're butchers. Not great. Here's some more Prairie Dogs. Kind of steady the camera. There's one right over here that's pretty brave. Let's see if he'll let me get a little closer to him. Nope, they're running away. They probably get middle school kids and high school kids out here all the time, being dicks. Throw rocks at them and chase them, and dogs. Look at this guy. Hey, buddy. Sorry, my hand's a little shaky. Like my fingers are numb at this point. Oh. All right. Anyway, any other fun facts that you want to know about? Any other kind of? I love Colorado history. I absolutely love it. So, get a good view. Oh, God, it's so hard to see anything from here, but all that kind of green area, that's all houses. Trey Creek Reservoir State Park here is, at this point, Trying to get him to pop out? No, he won't pop out. Just trying to get him to say hi. But essentially, this reservoir is now surrounded on all four sides with houses and developments. It gets very, very popular during the summertime. But it's a cool area. I'm glad they preserved it because it does provide a little bit of nature in the city. On my drive here on the east side, I'm on the west side of the reservoir. On the east side, there was a little group of deer with a big old buck. It was probably about a 6-point buck. Something's like its antlers had 6 tines on it. So pretty big. They have a deer fence around most of the park, especially on that side because there's a main highway and road that are on that side. Like a 6-lane state highway, so they can't jump over. But man, it's so cool to be here, especially during the middle of this week. Look at this. Look at these thistles. Again, another thing that people just don't like. But look at that. Like, you get down, look how beautiful that is. Look at that, just stunning. Take a picture of that. Put the camera up just a bit like that. Oh, I remember what I was going to say. So just on the other side of the horizon there. So kind of on the, if you go to like, maybe again 6 miles away, which again, if you're driving, it takes maybe 15 minutes to get there. About 2 years ago, they found some bones while they were creating a Kroger shopping center, and they did some excavation, and they found it was a Native American male, I think, from upwards of well over 1,000 years ago. How awesome is that? There's this creek nearby called Piney Creek, and just recently they were doing some excavation there for a water drainage project, and they found all these campsites. And so the Piney Creek was this major overland route for settlers, but a lot of the campsites that they found were actually from Native American tribes in the area. So it's so close. And even here, you know, this is all flooded now, but the Cherry Creek, yeah, for sure. So the Cherry Creek drains into the South Platte River, and at the confluence where the two meet, there's now a park called Confluence Park, but that is where Denver first was created. It was a trading spot between the trappers and early settlers and the Native Americans. And so there's this old, I think it's actually a contemporary picture of someone who was there, where the Europeans and the Americans and French and Canadians on one side had a little, you know, some tents and stuff, some small buildings on one side, and on the other side of the creek, on the south side, were all these Native American teepees. So it's really cool. Like, this area is really kind of the crossroads for many different areas. So, and peoples for all of time, as long as people have been here. Do I get asked about the Denver airport a lot? I mean, most people don't ask me about Denver. Since especially with COVID, like, I haven't been able to travel much, but, you know, there are lots of conversations about the Denver airport. God, who was I talking to? It was like a month ago where, oh, you know what? So the person I get my hair cut from, what is that? Oh, the dog. Let me walk to the other side. There's someone coming with a dog. I heard their chains. I was like, what is that sound? Here, hold on a quick sec. So I was saying that the person I get my haircut from, and I've been getting my haircut from her since, God, 2000? Maybe 1999? It's been a while. It's been a long time. But she was telling me just like a month ago that her son is one of the main electricians at the Denver airport and has been for like 15 years. And so I was actually asking her about it, and she was, kind of laughing. But I guess his thing is like he's been all over the airport. As an electrician, you go into all the areas. But she didn't really elaborate much. But yeah, what the hell? Sorry, my son just made a call to my wife. He's at school right now, so I'm not sure why he's making a phone call. Spy on him. Anyway, so no, it's funny. The DIA is interesting. I don't know. It is what it is. I don't put too much stock in conspiracy theories. My thing is that for the most part, there's always room for corruption and crazy shit, but the government is so inept that I just feel like most of the conspiracy theories are completely debunked because, the government can't even, build a bridge or make a road or provide health care without so much effort that, to build this alien complex. I don't know. I don't see it happening. It does from space, or you get a satellite image of DIA. It absolutely looks like a swastika. And I think that is very unfortunate. And that's about as far as I can see it, is that, well, that's unfortunate. That was, some government committee and building committee, they were so busy looking at the trees that they quite literally didn't pan out and look at the forest and be like, oh, that looks really bad. Let's maybe move one of the runways. And I don't know so the runways are very much east, west, north, south. They are not like at a diagonal or anything, from what I can tell at least. And I wonder if a part of that is because we get pretty bad wind around here. I don't know if you saw the news like a month ago where, half of northern part of the metro area, kind of south of Boulder, burned up. Me and my brother grew up very, very close to there. We used to go to one of the movie theaters that almost burnt down, and the whole neighborhood around it got burnt down. And it's because we get some crazy ass fucking winds. In Colorado Springs to the south, I think back in the 70s, there was a major airline that crashed because it was flying into the airport, and the wind, when it comes off the mountains, it's like a sideways tornado where it spirals. It's kind of goes around like this, and then shoots out to the east, and so it's circling. And so then if you're on a plane and you get lifted up and you're like, oh crap, I got to correct and point down, and then you kind of get to the top of the trough and then the wind takes you down, you drop. And that's what happened to this jetliner, and it smashed into the field, and everyone died. So they actually have new procedures for pilots because of that. And so I don't know if maybe that's why the kind of direction of the airport is the way it is to compensate for the wind, where if it's like at a diagonal, we get, I don't know. It's really super unfortunate to have a swastika. So it's like, okay, let's do something about that. I don't know. Let's come back around this hill here. I've seen lots of coyotes through this field. That's why I chose this part of the park to be on. I was thinking there's a lot of trees further on there. There's a little prairie dog running across the road. There's this really cool forested area, and maybe I'll do that another day. Oh, they were like giving each other little nose kisses. I don't know if you can see them. There's one like, oh, there he goes. Smell each other's butts, like you do. Anyway, I was hoping to see a coyote this morning. Or afternoon. I don't know what time it is anymore. Last time I saw a coyote, I was actually pretty much standing right where I am now, heading back to the car. And this poor little coyote had a little limp. I felt so bad for him. Poor little buddy. Hopefully he recovered, or she, and got all better. I was here this weekend, and that's what made me think. I was like, you know what, I should come back this week, find some time in my day without the family. I'll bring Twitch along. I saw some cool hawks. There's a lot of hawks around here. The trees and the water. Some bald eagles occasionally. Anyway, Smelly Cat, I hope your day is going fantastic. Jaggy Man, if you're still hanging out, I hope your day is equally as fantastic. So what I was saying before, when I first started, is so this is Butterfly Hill right here, right? I don't. I mean, I kind of do have Twitter, but I don't really use it, except for to follow people. So no. Okay, awesome. Well, good. Hello. Oh, it's Smelly Cat's partner. Just playing with kids. It's a snow day. Oh man, that's awesome. So, back in 1993, there was World Youth Day, and the world famous Pope John Paul II came to Colorado to celebrate World Youth Day. And so in this field, so right here where my finger is, kind of right where those bushes are, maybe a little past there, between that and the trees, was this stadium. And so they built it up as all temporary. And then this field here, where my hand's going, all this whole field right here, going down to where this tree line is. No, this, like the gazebo right there, had 500,000 people here to celebrate World Youth Day. So where we're standing, there would have been a sea of people. It would have been huge. And I remember I was a pretty young kid at the time, but I remember the Pope, and I was thinking, like, God, getting the traffic. These are all really small roads going through here. The dam that you can see has a road on it, just a two-lane road, I guess, one each direction. But during rush hour, it is like bumper to bumper. At least it used to be before COVID. And God, I can't imagine getting 500,000 people through here. When we get to the gazebo, I'll show you a picture of it. And then to the south, you can see I don't know if you can see it actually. There it is. A jet. There's a small airport here. And so They put all the jets over the park so they don't crash into houses. Actually, about a year ago, there was a mid-air collision. The airport had like 4 different crashes in about a 2-month period. All of people either coming or going. And one of them was this little tiny kind of hobby airplane, prop plane. Oh, here's another guy. Oh, let him go. Hey, buddy. He's eating. Hey. Anyway, so it happened in the field, like just on the other side of here. And so the small little plane cut in front of this larger jet, and the jet like lost part of its back like tail and still managed to land, which is amazing. And the hobby plane had a parachute deploy from the plane, and it landed in the field, which I'm like, okay, that's convenient, because otherwise they would have certainly been dead. But everyone survived, like no injuries. Like this mid-air collision where one of them lost their tail wing, the other one practically got cut in half and landed with a parachute, and all were fine. Like, fucking crazy, right? Here's another prairie dog right here. Is that the one that was chirping at me earlier? There was one that got me. Well, let me get really close. Yeah, there was another one around that same time that, unfortunately, they didn't make it. They were on the south side of the airport, and they hit some power lines. And another friend of mine and Jaggy Man's, who streams, Agent 0069, shout out to Agent. He lost power for, what, over a day, because they had to repair this big power line. And it's I think it caused a small grass fire. Here's another jet. Like a lot of the Lear jets, the corporate jets that fly into Denver go through this airport. Apparently, word on the street, one of those rumors, local rumors, is that a lot of the movie stars, this is like a midway point for a lot of the movie stars. And so like John Travolta and stuff will land at this airport. And apparently the seafood restaurant is one of the best in Denver because they fly it directly in to Denver. I'm going to go to the other side. There's someone running, coming up, a little runner, human runner, adult, not so small. There's a big fat one right there. Look at that guy, or girl. Hey, you got a small little hole there. Yeah, you do. What animals have I seen out here today? Well, I've seen this one. Seen a lot of prairie dogs. What else have I seen today? I saw some magpies. I love magpies. I don't know if you can see this one over here. Kind of walking. But I've seen some magpies, saw some little just birds, small little birds, chickadees and whatnot. I don't know if you guys can see it. Like its little cheeks are shaking. Looks like it's like just wanting to yell at me. You miss meadowlarks, yeah. Meadowlarks are one of my favorite birds. They're not around much this time of year, though. I'm going to crouch down, see what it does. He gets all pissed off. So the cool thing about prairie dogs, oh, there it goes. Oh, there's a magpie in the tree over here. We'll see if we can get up to it. This is right where we saw him last time. The cool thing about prairie dogs is that they have a very complex vocal capacity. So they have done studies where they have different calls for humans and dogs and coyotes and birds. And in fact, some of the researchers, if you show up enough, they'll have specific calls for specific people. There's one over here that was jumping up. It's like right there. And it was jumping up and it was going this caw, caw. So it's like this, I hear you. I hope you're okay. Well, this guy's freaking the frick out. Yeah, exactly. So this is here's this dude with a camera and a coat call. Streaming on Twitch. That's the call that they're making right now. If I crouch down again, it's going to freak it out. Just freaking out, man. The one behind it doesn't care. It's like digging around in the dirt. There's one over here. I don't know if you can see it. It's like right there. That's just cautiously watching. Waiting to see if I'm going to go to try to eat this guy. Or gal. Alright. Oh. I don't know if you can hear it. This is the funnest part, is when they go into their hole. You know, they're like... And then when they go in their hole, they're like... just to get like really pissed off. This one doesn't really care at all. Wow. Hey! Maybe this is the one I was dealing with earlier. Hi. What are you doing? He's eating. Saw you digging a minute ago. Hi. It's like, oh, I moved my hand to kind of like reach out. But yeah, it's like right there. Okay, bye. Here's some magpies. I don't know if in your neck of the woods you guys get magpies, but they are also incredibly smart. There's a prairie dog over here chirping at me. It's in the shadow. There it goes. Beautiful birds. Very, very smart. Opportunistic. Kind of like a Karen. Not like a Karen woman, but they eat dead things. But insects and roadkill and seeds and whatnot. So anyway, this is the gazebo I was talking about. So that's the hill, and then here's the picture of it. So here's the kind of bandstand, and this is the sea of people through here. And then there's the Pope. Hey, Pope. But yeah, just like right here. Pretty nuts. They talk about how having 500,000 people here was actually kind of a good thing, because it allowed them to revegetate this area all in native plants and make this prairie dog colony and import the prairie dogs from probably areas that were slated to be developed. So that's what it's saying right here in that one. Yeah. So let me check my work phone, see if I need to get back to work. Oh, God. Yeah, one of the texts I got was, hey, sorry to blow up your IMs, but any ideas on what X-Men character you want to be? No, I don't. I don't want to spend my time worrying about what kind of X-Men character I want to be at work. I'll be the one that doesn't go to work and goes on little walks instead. Whatever X-Men character that is. I will take a mental health day. Alright, so far so good. It's only noon. Happy noon, everybody. Yeah, we're good. What do I do for work? I am, by training, a psychotherapist. Do the blob. Yes, do the blob. I think that would probably offend somebody. I don't know. So I'm a child and family therapist by training, and right now I work really between like behavioral health and behavioral health providers and policymakers and child welfare agencies. So trying to make sure that Child Protective Services, I'm going to walk across the street, that Child Protective Services are mindful of children's behavioral health. And so that's what I do for my day job. And then at night I play D&D and video games, because you know you're never too old to not grow up. Is that the right thing? But yeah, and shit like that. Like sometimes you just gotta not work, go on a walk. Man, that prairie dog. Oh, I see them. I was like, where the hell are they? They're like way down there. There's like a little area. Again, a bunch of thistles. Look at these beautiful thistles. Look at that. Beautiful. Love it with a beautiful sky. So where we're going now, we're going to go closer to the reservoir. Let me think. Where are we? There used to be, right here, I think, actually. See how it's pretty flat right here? It's an old railroad bed. So there used to be a railroad 100 years ago that went through here. We're not quite there yet. I actually see the berm. And so they made it into a trail. But yeah, the railroad got washed out from a dam that broke quite a bit south of here along Prairie Creek called Castlewood Canyon. And actually I went hiking there on Monday for MLK Day. I went hiking there and walked on the old dam. It's still there, but you know, it's a big gaping hole in it. It's collapsed, it's in ruins. I think it collapsed in like 1913? No. Let's see, they built it. Maybe it was actually in the 30s. It was in the 30s when it collapsed. And it washed out most of that area. So yeah, I'll show you where the thing is. So back in the woods here, this is where you see the animals usually. But there's a lot more people too. So yeah, we're going, I don't know if you can see, but I'm walking uphill right now a little bit. And there's this kind of this berm on either side. It's, you know, it kind of goes down there and then goes down here. So this is the old railroad bed. And it went all the way to Denver, so all the way up to there and beyond. So, yeah. And so we're going to walk down. It's starting to warm up now. We're gonna walk down into the woods a little bit, do a little more hiking. There's a runner that just ran through, so I don't think we're gonna see any animals. When I was a kid, I used to go to this area, or in high school, that was right next to the Platte River, and it was very, very much like this. And in high school, I had class in the morning, and then had like a 4-hour break in the middle of the day, and then class in the afternoon. I don't know why. My high school was weird. Okay, so we're at a crossroads. We can go down that way and go towards the water, go down that way, and go into the trees a little bit, and go down this way, go to the picnic area. So what do you guys think? Left, straight, so that's left. That's straight, the water, and that's right, to the trees. Anyway, so I would go to this natural area a couple times a week, and there'd be these giant effing coyotes. It'd just be me, and I'd walk through these areas just like this time of year, and I got to know where the coyotes were. Go to the right, all right. And I would find their dens. And I mean, they were the biggest coyotes I've ever seen. I mean, they would easily come up to like about my hip. They looked like wolves, maybe a little lower than my hip. And like, obviously it was in the middle of winter. Not obviously, but it was in the middle of winter. And it was just so cool. Like they would be right next, like running around, just right in front of me. Like, 4 or 5 of them. Because I'd be really quiet, I'd just be by myself. And like at one time, it'd be like, this little cropped of bushes right here. I would be walking up to it and be right next to it, and a deer like jumped up and scared the bejesus out of me. Such an interactive documentary. Oh, good. So these are old cottonwoods, if you want to know. Oh, there's a little chickadee. Oh, it just flew away. You can hear it. I don't know if you can hear it, but it's woo-hoo. There goes it. Woo-hoo. I don't know if you can see the chickadee. It's on the tree right there. Probably can't. I don't know how well the mic picks up, but it probably does a lot of sound cancellation. It's like right there. You can't see because it's in the shadows. I don't know if you guys in the neck of the woods, you guys get chickadees. They seem to be pretty prevalent for the whole, like, continent, but I don't know. Love these old cottonwoods, though. So beautiful, especially during the wintertime. And you get this kind of light, the low light, and the jaggedness, the roughness of the bark. You get some beautiful photos, especially black and white photos. I used to go to these kind of areas. I was really big into photography in high school and do black and white photography. Go to the dark room, process them. I always take pictures of cottonwoods. 2 years ago, in the fall, okay, another fork in the road, right or left. Pick your journey. Chickadees are all over the Connecticut area. Yeah, they kind of ubiquitous, right? I'm waiting for that or the plane to fly over. Left. We're gonna go left. But 2 years ago in October, there was a fire on the north, or the kind of southeast side of this area. Grass fire. And like, it was, again, we could like see the ash at our house, and it burnt some of the trees, but not like, it just kind of burnt the undergrowth. And actually, the next spring it grew back amazingly nice. I mean, the grass loves fire. It makes it so much better. If you look at this area, I think this probably is not necessarily man made. But you see how the grass is all laying down? You can see it's brighter, right? It's been pushed down. So we haven't had any, like, much snow. We've had just a little bit of snow. And there's some areas that isn't smushed down. So what this probably means, what I usually interpret it to mean, is that there's like a deer or a group of deer that were laying down in this area right here at some point in the last 5 months. But usually when you see like grass kind of smushed down, it's usually either because of wind or snow or an animal laying down. And this looks more like an animal was laying here. Just the way it looks. Could have been wind. We certainly get wind. But it's a good area for some deer to hang out. There's something in this bush. No, maybe it's just... You can see a little bit of snow. Just recently we started getting snow. We had, between June 1st and December 31st, we had, what was it, like a quarter of an inch of precipitation for that entire period of time. It was the driest, like, dry spell that Colorado and the Denver area has ever had, hence the fires. Here's another little side trail. Should we take that one or keep going along the bigger one? Every time I ask, there's a jet that flies over. It's convenient. I can't talk anyway. So left for the small trail, right for the bigger one. Go on an adventure. Why not? You can see the lake right there. I see an ice fisher person. You know, we're starting a new D&D campaign for our Saturday group where I'm a player, and my character is a construct, warforged, and I, like the character, there's no gender. That was a hawk right next to me. Oh man, I don't know if you guys saw that. But he's non-gender, or their name is Omega. And so you gotta know Omega before you can like refer to Omega. Because Omega gets really, really upset when you call Omega a him, her, they, she, anything other than Omega. And as I'm trying to get to know this character more, it's really, really hard not to gender people and things, right? And just call them what they are. There's a person here, so I can't really explore too much further. Kind of walking away. That hawk was huge. Anyway, so here's the lake. There's a person right over here, so. I mean, there's some people with like pretty nice get-ups over here. Old huge tent. Man, talk about a change in scenery. Boom, just like that. We're like in the frozen tundra. I presume I could probably walk on it, but that scares the shit out of me. One winter, I mean, it was like 10 degrees outside. I took my kid, he was like 4 at the time, and we went towards some ice fishermen, so I knew it was safe because there was fishermen out there. but it didn't go far. So I was like, oh, this is so scary. Seems like weekly during the summertime, there's like, man, another, boater drowned on Cherry Creek Reservoir. I'm like, yeah, I really don't want to drown under ice. There are some footsteps. A little bit of snow still. So this feels more like Colorado. It snowed last week. It's just weird being so sunny, it's warming up, and then being on ice. Cold nights, but yeah, it's weird. Am I on a lake? I don't know. I don't think so. The water's really low right now because of said drought. I mean, this is certainly water. This is certainly water that's frozen right here. I'm along the shoreline, I know that. But I would presume I'm on a little bit of water right now. You can see, if you look at like this plant here, there's a lot of this algae down here. And so the water level can sometimes get up to about here, which is about 2 feet from where the snow is. Sometimes even higher. Actually, there's some algae and moss like kind of right there. So in some years, it can be significantly higher, but not this year. And not during the winter, obviously. Winters usually in Colorado are a dry period. Whatever moisture we have usually gets kind of stuck in the snow. But along the Front Range in the Denver metro area and the whole kind of this side of the mountain range, it's usually pretty dry. February is one of our driest months. And then March and April are one of our wettest. So that's when we get like the big snowstorms and they're super wet, super heavy. Yeah, look at this. Look at that right there. Go ice skating right there. Yeah, I mean, that's not shallow. I mean, it's shallow, but I can't see the bottom. Yeah, maybe a little bit. Anyway. So usually the reservoirs kind of get drained. Good thing there are no cracks. Yeah, for sure. Good thing. Yeah, like this giant crack. Yeah. That goes forever. Good thing there's no cracks. I'm not sure what that thing's all about. Maybe that is the shoreline proper. I don't know. I'm looking for a trail to go back into the woods. So far I don't see any. So I'll just keep walking. This is a well-used trail, so I think we're okay. Hey Jaggy, if you hear me go, ah! Call Amy. Hey look, you guys want any organic fruit? Yum. Yummy. All right, here's some muddy land. I'd prefer to walk on the ice. There's a little bit of a trail. Yeah, not great. All these cattails. Love cattails. Oh man, love cattails. Let's grab one. So I guess other than, look at that. The cool thing about cattails is like you grab it and it's just, look at this. Look how beautiful that is. Oh my gosh. Oh, go. Okay. Oh my gosh, it's... Oh, okay, my coat is covered, and I'm pretty sure my hair and my face is too. Anyway, love it. We used to, I don't know, Jeff, if you remember this, but we used to grab these and like break them off and then have like sword fights with them and just whack each other. And of course you get covered in the fuzz. Oh my God, it's all over my beard. I love those videos online where like the people eat them, like they take a giant like bite out of these things and they like freak the frick out. Anyway, so I was gonna ask, like, okay, so if I have to pick an X-Man superhero, I presume. I mean, the Blob isn't necessarily a superhero, so that's probably off the books. And I think it can be homebrew. I think someone picked a homebrew one. I think that individual identifies as trans, and so they found a homebrew superhero of a trans individual. So, not to say that I identify as trans, I'm just saying that I can pick a homebrew. I don't really know any homebrew superheroes. Oh my God, my coat is covered. So I don't know. I don't really do a lot with superheroes anymore. At least with X-Men. I think all the good ones were taken. Popular ones, I should say. I hate Cyclops. Cyclops is the worst. Okay, so now we're getting into like the creek, like the Cherry Creek where it drains. Or no, this isn't it. But it's certainly wet around here. We're gonna cut through this area. Perfect opportunity. Maybe the Beast because he's kind of nerdy. I just clipped that cattail moment. Awesome. That's great. Thanks. Oh, man. Keep going on the big trail. I heard something. I thought I heard like a dove. Can't find it. Oh. Twitch is weird like that. I'm sure it's there. Alright, I'm going to go a little further, and then I think I'm going to turn around. Head back to reality. Try to think of what superhero I should be for work. Ugh. I don't know if you can tell, I'm a little burnt out. Hey, there's like a bench over here. That is bizarre. I've never seen this bench before. Alright. So yeah, sometimes the water comes all the way up to these rocks and it's pretty far away. In loving memory of Joseph J. Roos. What about this one? Bench donated by Cherry Creek Women's Club. I did not know there was a women's club for Cherry Creek. They have a rowers club. A bunch of rowers. rocks. Oh God, my shoe's untied. Don't climb rocks with untied shoes. Beautiful. Yeah, burnout's real. It's important to take moments like these, that's for sure. All right, let me try to get off the rocks without tripping on my loose shoelace. There we go. All right, let's head back. First we're gonna go left, and then we're gonna go right. Look at those lines on those trees, the shadows. I mean, look at this old boy, girl, tree. You can identify everything. Beautiful. Cool thing about cottonwoods is that, or cottonwood trees, is that their root system is really what they're all about. And when you chop off the top of the tree, like that one, or when it dies, usually the root system survives. And so if you look at this big, cool tree, there's others around it, right? And so those might be part of the same tree. And so all these trees might be just one tree, might be several trees. They all might be their own individual trees, but usually the trees are, well, first of all, they're genetically identical. And so when you chop down a cottonwood, it shoots up through its own survival mechanism, like twigs and shooters, and they regrow. And so these trees, these ones, I mean, they're not very big. They look pretty young, maybe 20, maybe 30 years old. But the tree itself, with the roots, might be hundreds and hundreds of years old. How cool is that? Same thing with aspen trees. Back in the day, they used to think that a grove of aspen trees was the largest organism in the world because the root systems were all part of one giant tree. But yeah, I just think it's cool. Like, I don't know, living in the West, everything is so new, everything is built new. We tear down everything that's over like 30 years old, 40 years old. There's no signs of the inhabitants that had lived here for thousands and thousands of years. We did a good job on eradicating that culture. And so to see something like these trees that, who knows, maybe they've been here for 5,000 years. I don't know if they can live that long, but still, kind of cool to think about. There's still trees, and I know they're in the southeast because actually I just saw like a TikTok video of someone describing it. But when you're in the woods and you see evergreens, especially, and they like come out at an angle and then go at a 90-degree angle to the right and then another 90 straight up. Those trees are often markers that Native Americans used. So they would kind of crop the tree and then have it grow sideways and then crop it again and have it go straight up. And those trees are still around. In fact, and they, depending on how they grew, they signify different things, right? So a friend of mine, she lives up in the mountains, and in her neighborhood, there are bunches and bunches of these trees. And she actually talked to like a professional about it. And he was saying that those trees, sorry about the thing, the plane, but those particular trees in her neighborhood designate a burial site or a place where a child died. And so where they cropped the tree was how tall the individual was. And she has all these trees that are like 3 feet tall at the bend. So that means like, it's like a children's cemetery. And So I don't know if there was like a disease or if there was a hunting ground. There's this really large rock outcropping that when we go there, my children love to climb on. And I'm like, I wonder how many kids have loved to climb on this. And now they have a tree growing instead of themselves. Let me go to the left. So a little morbid, but fascinating that you can still see them. Like they're still there. Anyway, so Jaggy, you're talking about Nightcrawler's a good one. I do like Nightcrawler. Deadpool. Deadpool might be a really good one. Yeah, that is a good one. Oh, there's someone coming. And then, sorry, I'm going to stop real quick. And Doctor Who. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I don't watch Doctor Who. I've definitely thought about it, but so David Tennant is going to voice a new Critical Role Vox Machina show. That sounds amazing. That sounds like a lot of fun. Love Critical Role. I've heard nothing but good things about Doctor Who. I hear that bird. There's like a couple right up there. You guys hear that music? I think it's that person that walked by. They're like blaring music through their headset. Anyway. Hopefully you all can hear that. Where is that music coming from? There's more people coming with a kid. I'm gonna avoid them and go on the trail, the sidewalk. Again, so you can see this little berm here. This is where the railroad used to be. There's a little corrugated pipe, let water flow from one side to the next. And then here we are. Look at that. See, that's the thing about Colorado, is where you're like, wow, this is absolute plains and arid and super dry, and then you walk 50 feet and you're on this ice-covered reservoir with snow all around. That was a pretty bird. Now it's warming up. There's a lot more runners, a lot more people out for walks. I'm getting hot. I got a couple layers on, and man, I have my glove on still. It's warm. This thing, Jaggy, if you're still there, I was looking at, we want to get like property, like a ranch of some type, farm. And in Colorado, it's just so damn expensive because, you gotta say you live in Colorado. And I was looking up at like New Hampshire, and man, you can buy so much property for so cheap up in New Hampshire, and like beautiful, beautiful place. Like there's one that was built like freaking in like 1770, and it was beautiful. Like, it needed some work because they're historic and whatnot, but like it was a working farm. It had like a whole dairy production. I was like, holy shit. And then just recently, I like on my weather app just found some random city in New Hampshire to follow along, see what the weather is like, and it's like every freaking day for weeks, the high is like 15 degrees. Like, Okay. I don't know if I can do that. Let's look at these little thistles. So many people think that thistles are invasive, which many of them are. Yeah, live or die. Yeah, for sure. Live free or die. Yeah, I just read live or die. Live with lots of layers or die. Anyway, there's certainly invasive species of thistles, but there's also some really, really cool native ones. They're just so pretty. And then a lot of these birds, they rely on thistles during the wintertime because all these little hairs have little seeds on them. Usually. Ow. Oh, I just took the whole head off of it. Didn't mean to do that. They're stuck on there real good. Come here. These ones don't have any seeds. Maybe I'm lying. I could be lying. Ah, you see that? See that? Focus camera. That is why people don't like thistles. Because they stick. But they're pretty. They smell delicious during the winter or summertime. They're all in bloom. You hear those ravens. Is a group of ravens called a murder, same as crows? I don't know if you can see them though. Oh, someone needs to look that up. All right, last little stretch. Well, thank you, Jaggy. Thank you, Smelly Cat. Smelly Cat's partner, for hanging out with us today. I had a bunch of fun. Maybe I'll get some breaks in my day. I rarely get so many breaks. There's often days where I am in meetings for 8 hours and usually get like a maybe half-hour break to like actually do work. Today, on the other hand, I had lots of breaks, or a chunk of breaks. I got to go to a meeting that's going to be fairly difficult in just a few minutes. But whatever. I got D&D tonight. If you love it, it's a murder of crows. But what about a murder of ravens? Is it a murder of ravens? We got D&D tonight, Big Bad Evil Guy. Tonight, the first Big Bad Evil Guy. I mean, they're only level 6, and so it can't be the last Big Bad Evil Guy. Really excited for it. Hopefully... Oh, see, here's a different kind. Okay, here's the one I was kind of looking at. These thistles. These thistles. Come on, focus, please. Focus. It's like me sometimes. You see these like little pricks, like you can, little seed pods. The birds rely on them during the wintertime. And here's a different kind. So here's a different kind of thistle. See, look at these. Look at these ones. Much different. Much different. One of these days I'll figure out what all these are called. It's really hard to tell the different kinds, but like we just saw 3 kinds in just several steps, and I bet if we look a little closer, there'd probably be another half dozen. So that's where it's very difficult for people like me to be like, oh, this one's invasive, or oh, this one's actually a keystone plant species. I'm gonna cross this road without getting ran over. Anyway. Unkindness of ravens. Oh, that's not nice. Ravens are awesome. Conspiracy of ravens. I believe that. I believe that more. All right, my friends. Hopefully I'll see you all tonight. Picture this. I will look. All right. Well, from Butterfly Hill, let me see if I can turn this sucker around. Yeah, I can. Hey, there I am. So, yep. Ugh, my gosh, the sun. I look like I belong in Colorado with my shirt. There we go. Hey, all right. Thank you all so much for hanging out with me. I'll see you tonight, hopefully. All right, with my classic, Auf Wiedersehen. Bye.